All right,
how far can we really?
Wayback Machine.
How far can we go back? Oh boy, back to the back. What was it? Reeboks. It was Reebok, Atari, the fucking hoverboard that didn't really hover. Back to the Future. Jurassic Park. Kids.
I got one. The first
when I say kids, you got a single digits. Old enough to remember the song, but young enough that it would have been old news.
This one counts. Like I mentioned, we were my brother would have a fucking bunch of CDs.
God.
We listened to
CDs, man.
MP3 player. It was Landing in London by Three Doors Down. There's that one.
I knew you were gonna do that.
Yeah. But also we listened to a lot of Rob Zombie. I can't remember any of the song names because I was a wee little baby, and finding Landing in London was hard.
Literally had a grasshopper.
But Rob Zombie.
Yeah. But now you know it, right?
Yeah.
Yep. See, if you had told me that was a song back when I was like 8 or 9, back when I was listening to things like, Bon Jovi, Led Zeppelin, I threw a little bit of Europe and Boston in there, Billy Talent, Green Day, I would have told you were batshit crazy, probably without the actual language. My mind would have been blown. But of course, if you notice, a lot of the songs I mentioned are old, like 80s,
old
70s.
Yeah, like
one of the Have You Ever Seen the Rain? That one came out when the world went to war in Vietnam and Korean War. That was a soldier's perspective, song on a soldier's perspective. I want to know, have you ever seen the rain coming down on a bloody day? It's about the carnage of war. That was a good one.
Yeah. I've listened to a few old ones.
I can remember whole lists.
I remember mentioning Electric Avenue. That one's pretty damn old.
I never heard of them. I had a very small palate as a kid. I didn't really. Usually it's whatever my dad listened to, and he still listens to the songs on his rock-shaped speakers. See, I had an MP3 player that was actually not an iPod Touch. God, iPod Touches, man. I can tell how old I am now. 90s kid. And yet I don't even know where my actual MP3 player is. I have my iPod Touch still. No cord to use it with, and it died so quick. But I had an iPod Touch, and I had a Samsung... maybe a SanDisk. It was a SanDisk. Amber said it was a SanDisk. But a SanDisk MP3 player. Had like a little clip on it and everything. Well, my dumbass self has moved it and or lost it within like a week after finding it. I love that fucker. It had all my music on it too. Wait. I think I found it. Eat. No, damn it. Never mind. It's just the feeling of a chord. I'm sad face, man. I was gonna get giddy. It's like I found my SanDisk. Oh.
I was around.
Sad. I'm probably gonna go back and get one if I get a chance to find a actual, if I can get a chance to find the SanDisk, I'm going to take it. But if I cannot, I'll probably get another one. Because I like simpler times. Me and Amber both like simpler times. I literally just found me a flip phone and tempted to reactivate and leave it at that. Because I just don't like modern technology. And when I say that, I mean days when Xbox was not around. Things like Atari and Polybus and, the old people stuff that you kids won't know what that's about.
The times of the Game
old
Boy
days.
Advance.
Oh, yeah. The Game Boy itself was a hell of a fun system. I still have one. I have very fond memories of stuff like that.
Or even just the GameCube. The GameCube was a more recent console within the past 10 years.
I could see that one. But only because we don't got one of those. My aunt got that one.
I have one. I don't use it much.
But look, at least I can educate my children on it. Because they weren't born in the 90s. And Amber is like a year older than me. Like, come September, we'll be the same age until she runs around like April. I think that's what it was, April. I think I'm about to send you the actual ages, but the birthdays for Amber and Clover. You know, Clover's is on May 13th.
I believe.
Yes, Amber's like
April 14th.
Okay, so you did remember. I almost said August.
And yours is on September the 17th.
Out here on the road. But yeah, this is something I would. If I knew where it was, I'd get it back out and make it work. I know that one still works. The SanDisk worked pretty well. Still, iPod Touch does not work. It can't stay charged. That's what I would like to see. Especially if I had a chance to get one from a birthday. I'd ask for another MP3 player.
I gotta get.
Yeah. U2 was a good one. I didn't know they were an older. If you didn't notice, U2 is a older band. I didn't know that. But then they appeared on Apple products as you updated your system at this point, and you got one of their songs. And a good fun fact: I was watching a YouTuber that Amber and them like to watch, the girls, called Project SNT, and they were doing a Sonic thing, and I was just kind of watching it with them. And the second I bumped something on my earbuds they were using, my phone switched to speaker mode, was playing the band while we were watching the thing on my phone while they were doing the outro for the movie. And I was sitting there thinking, that's a very fitting end to the song literally matched the episode completely. And then I realized, oh hey, music's playing. Bass palm. Playing head on wall. I even commented, watching this with the fam while U2 was playing in the background, totally fooled myself into believing that was the outro music. Oof. Yeah, apparently she did a cinematic where she broke. What'd you do?
Oh, these cheap ass goddamn bots.
Mm-hmm. Spiced apple cider. And you turn. Rock radio.
But
it'll run and it'll.
Yeah, we're still live. I got a good
what
one.
you got?
I got a good one to mention. And I only know about we only found out this song because or at least I think we did. But we found it through a game that we played on the PlayStation 2, I believe. It was called Roadkill, and the game is about cars that have, the Night Shark, right? How it has the guns in the front.
The Night Shark? You talking about the fucking disgusting? Where on Grand Theft Auto, where it only has the front mounted. Yeah, that thing is shit. Give it stick it up the tailpipe and give me some smoke, and I'll be fine.
Right.
Oh boy,
imagine that. But every single car did that. Just front guns. They only shot straight.
Yes.
And it was a deathmatch type game between multiple different cars. It was kind of fun. But don't fear.
It reminds me of Mario Party Sunshine Runners and the carts.
Don't fear.
That's what I hear.
That was a.
Huh? What happened? Don't fear what? The Reaper?
Don't fear the Reaper. That was a song that we found through that game. It was used in that game.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Don't fear death. Me and my dad can get along. We don't get along a lot, but what we can get along with is the music. Whatever he did, whatever I didn't hear from him as a kid, I found later on when they came out, or was already old news. So we listened to Ghost Train. Don't remember the band's name. It was back when they found out you could stick a tube in your mouth and stick it a part of your electric guitar, and you could make noises, and it would make the sound while you play the guitar. Bon Jovi used it in You Get Love a Bad Name. He also used it in Living on a Prayer. Whoa! It shows them putting the tube in their mouth, and they would play the whole song with this thing in their mouth, and you blow into it and make a vibrating noise with your lips. And when you played the instrument sound, it would do that. And then as you got it going, you could make other noises into it. It was kind of like a tube mic. I don't know what you really call it. But it was really interesting. Whoa! Very fun. Now we got like synthesizers, dubstep tracks, techno, trance, synthetic noise-making machines go blah, 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 and you put it into a song. World was simpler back then. That's one thing I miss, though. That's one thing I was afraid of when I left for the service. I was sitting thinking that not much changed when I was a kid, and then it went to, like, what, the 2000s? Everything was gone. It went from cassette tapes to CDs in your car, and now every car in the world now that's new is Bluetooth speaker. It's getting too techy. We went from MP3 players to the first iPod, then to the first iPhone, and now they're like paper thin of glass. Your phone in your hand is made of glass. That's why it breaks so easily when you drop it.
The front and back
and people started worrying more about money than the quality. And that's what I worry about. You know, I make jokes all the time, but hop onto an Xbox, you'll time travel, but you can only travel one way. That's forward. Even when you're playing old songs. And it's, you know. Yeah, tomorrow I'll be gone. So tonight I'll just sing along, raising hell with the hippies and the cowboys. Nice songs there.
Yeah, on the topic of the past, let's talk about some games that we played in the past. I have quite a few.
God.
People have probably never heard about.
I'll likely outclass you there.
Right. I've played a game that me and my brother played this, and we didn't remember the name of this game. Getaway Free, I think it was Free Monday. It was either Getaway Free Monday or Getaway Black Monday. But it was a detective game, or a cop game. You played as a cop.
Probably Black Monday.
Yeah,
Given what year was it? It was released.
Let me
if it's as old as Tetris is, racism and Black Monday, the dreary is a dark, stormy night. You know, it would be one of those cheap ass, old school cartoonish style detective scenarios.
No,
that plays at any time.
I mistakenly said
it was the early '90s. Well, yeah, I was just mentioning because if we're talking about pixelation, then it's probably going to be Black Monday.
That's what it was. Getaway Black Monday, but it wasn't in the vein of racism, I think.
Well, no, that's not what I meant. But Black Monday, it's around that time where that was still a thing.
Yeah.
And the only games you could play was Mario, Tetris. Nintendo was just there. Doom came out not long after. God, you really look back at these games.
This game was made in 2000.
Now, and you. Oh. I thought it was something older than that.
No,
so you got me good there.
I've only been born in
2000. Because I hear Getaway Black Monday, I think of an old game that's pixelated like Doom.
No, it was
I think of that being a Doom 64 style pixelations.
But it was an action adventure
game. For a loop.
It kind of like it was fun though. Roadkill, I mentioned that was a game I played in my childhood. Twisted Metal, a series that was kind of lost to time. That game.
I've heard about that one.
Those games were
Twisted Metal turned to Twisted Metal, then it went to Metal Gear, right? And Twisted Metal started out being the first Metal Gear game.
No. Twisted Metal was like in the vein of Roadkill, like I said. It was a car shooting game. Shooting car, at least right.
Well, I remember there was a game released, Twisted Metal or something like that led into the way of. That's a good one.
But let me explain what Twisted Metal was. It was basically a tournament. It was very interesting because the tournament
skating simulator.
But the tournament's reward was a singular wish of anyone's desire. But the dude who gives the wish You better be careful how you wish for what.
The Grim Reaper?
No.
Did you actually get to type in any wishes?
No, but it was based on the character you
like...
played. If you played a certain character, he'd give a certain wish. But he ended up finding a way to screw everyone over because if they better be careful with how they wish for what they wish for because...
Twisted Metal, I get it.
If you leave it open...
So that game was back in the era where... Right, that game played off from the era of gaming where it had to have a sort of pacifist sort of style of gameplay with the villain was a villain. He wasn't just he probably had some link to Satan or was Satan. How old was the game? Surprisingly, because I'm getting vibes of like Lego Indiana Jones or hell even worse, Wolfenstein. I'm getting a Wolfenstein vibe there too, where the villain is a villain. Yep, that's why. It reminds me of again when I say the era of gaming where villains were villains. The villain was mean enough to not care. You piss him off, he shoots you and continues the storyline. You know, the essence of Doom and Wolfenstein were like that because Nazis and demons. That's what I'm saying. So I can really pinpoint the eras, but I can't quite tell you the years.
But it was so interesting because that was the final scene in the game, was the wish that the character made. So depending on your character, you could just get a really disappointing ending. It was so good.
Okay. Really?
But and then
it's neat. It's just he's basically playing away like a Grim Reaper,
right?
Sort of style. But he was like, he probably was human or something like that with some unknown power. You know what I'm probably saying.
Yeah, and you are correct.
The Big Bad and the Digimon franchise is like that too. He looked like some lanky, hella tall demon, and he looked like he'd do some bad shit if you talk to him. Again, in the era where video games had a villain, and the villain was a villain, he was like so bad that when they went to make a modernization, they said, hey, scale him back a bit. He's too satanically Hitler worshipping. He's too sinister. That's why we got things like Bowser now, where Bowser could have been something far worse. But instead, he enslaves the Mushroom Kingdom and turns them into blocks. Imagine an era of Mario where that didn't exist. Sorry for the background noise. I'm pulling up the road. And imagine an era of Mario where the only way to kill Bowser was to go in there with a flamethrower and a machine gun. I mean, fuck, Mario became a soldier at one point and went on bombing things. So, I mean, you gotta remember the eras that play into the game. I want to mention that too. It depends on what was happening in that era. I saw a lot of Vietnam vibes in other games as well. If you didn't know, there's a lot of these games that you can get into and you can look at and you can watch. And they're like, you're kind of looking at it like, what the fuck, guys? That's pretty bad because we're used to what I'm going to call mildly kid-friendly content. Things like, again, Bowser's just a villain. He's not a villain. They took the word villain and family friended it. So you can show a kid nowadays that plays Mario every day, you show him a time where Mario went around bombing the jungles of Vietnam and napalming people or making drugs and drugging people in the form of a small Tetris remake. You really show them that this is what Mario did before he became a plumber and before he saved the Mushroom Kingdom. That makes you rethink that happy Italian plumber, don't it?
Right, and
when you think about it,
tinfoil hat theory, but skinning a tanuki.
So repeat that. Skinning
a tanuki.
Is that an anime game? Is this some dank anime game?
No,
some dank anime. Skinning Tatanuki or Takanuki?
The tanuki suit, I think it's called.
Fucking don't know.
Mario?
Oh, you mean the rabbit?
Yeah.
The rabbit bird? Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, I don't know how to say it. So I just call him the ugly. I call him the raccoon ripoff. The Rocket Raccoon. It's Rocket's cousin at this point. That's a good one. He did skin that. You're right. He was brutal. And it's funny that he chose to go to the Mushroom Kingdom. He only went with his brother and a plumber, a plunger. But he could have went in there with bombs and guns. But again, the era always plays into the games. You know, when was it Nintendo adopted Wolfenstein or something like that? It was Nintendo for a thing for that. They took out Hitler's mustache and the symbols, and they're like, "We're good. Do what you want." Oh yeah. Oh, also make the Nazis or make something in the thing a giant rat, and it's like, whoop-de-doo, now it's American friendly. I'm like, great. Yeah, you know, you gotta really look into the gameplay back then. I mean, way back then. The games I remember playing were Tetris, some games in the GameCube. I played the very first Legend of Zelda. And back then, in my time, there was no instruction manual. You couldn't just go on the internet and say, "How is fuck do beat Zelda plus help internet?"
There was
and get
no
an answer.
Internet
You had to know a guy who knew a guy who knew a guy who knew a guy who claimed that they worked at Nintendo, and that was probably the best thing you got, or you sat there and did nothing and learned it yourself.
And this really will make you guys think about the internet. Just imagine, real quick, if the internet, the way it exists, didn't exist like it did back when the GameCube was a thing.
No, it did.
Or hell,
you poked your computer and said, "Hey, computer," and it would scream as loud as it could when you told it to give me some answers.
Just imagine real quick
it
if
would
it stayed that way.
scream.
Imagine real quick if it stayed that way. How many?
I think I would like that.
How many
you know
people
why?
do you think
Because
would be
pornography
bugging out
was
Fallout
a no-no
76?
then.
No.
The only reason why I would like that is the Fallout existed then too. The pornography was still been a no-no.
Right.
Unlike now, you can't even look up certain words in the English language without getting a porn site reference or something of that nature. So, if you had made an ass joke in the form of food back then, they'd have beat your ass and done you in prison for being a pedophile. You know, that's what those shag carpets were in the back of those vans. Totally not trying to be a home porno. They tried to make it look like it was a home-based thing. Games I remember the more violent forms of the games back when, you know, Doom was the COD or Wolfenstein back when, Tetris, Fallouts 1 and 2. Now, I'm not that old. God, no. But these are games that were around, either going out of style like it's no tomorrow, or going out of sound and jumping back in, because Polaroids came back for a bit.
Oh, yeah. They came back.
What else? Polaroids, Converse, Vans skateboards, overalls that came back one time, dank hairstyles with really strange colors. Can't really think of anything else. God, Amber could tell you whatever happened in Australia back in the 90s, but I can't quite remember exactly everything in my childhood. Getting diagnosed with autism and being treated like a disease, that was a thing back when I was a kid. If you had a mental disorder or a physical disorder, you were afflicted by something satanic. Or if you were religious. If you weren't, you just caught the disease of some child. That's where anti-vaxxers kind of started out being a thing, was my kid hung out with your kid had the flu, and thanks to your kid, my son got diagnosed with a Down syndrome, or something like that. It was just kind of that. Yet they all had a barbecue the next day. I lived back in a time where the world was like, "Hey, welcome to the neighborhood, have a tray of cookies," and the owner of the house is like, "Thanks, these aren't totally poisoned," or "I don't worry about you coming over to shoot me, come in my house and let me give you a tour," instead of "Get the fuck off my property," as it is now. And those are probably poison. "Get the fuck off my property, I'm gonna call the cops." You're calling me on the landline. Oh boy, landlines. Ooh, I remember those. William's like, what is a landline? And I was like, let me see your phone. He said, okay. You did it across the room. There you go. Done. It was the closest thing you had from a brick. Those were a thing too. The brick, the beeper, and the landline. Dial up. Again, you just poked your Macintosh and asked it to do something for you. And Alice says, and I thought I screamed loud. I showed her one of those recently. William's got one. But he understood the message when I took his phone and yeeted it across the room. It's like, oh, you mean those things with the really long cords? You flipped out, or it was like, or you had your ear and your face was your cheekbone was touching the fucking number. I'm like, yeah, dumbass. He's like, I know about those. They were stupid. He referenced those as fossils of time. But as soon as I did my phone, he knew what I meant. William's been around a hell of a lot longer than I have. And I'm not that intelligent sometimes, but So he made a joke about, robotics have changed in the past decade. It's a good old reference to attractions that had, he's making references to people that dressed up in uniforms at certain places like McDonald's. McDonald's, and it's just funny, before the clown craze, before John Wayne Gacy, there was a really tall male, or if it wasn't tall, it was a shorter individual with some small stilts, and he dressed up in the Ronald McDonald outfit, and he'd go entertain your kids while the food's being cooked to keep the parents from getting frustrated that their kid is impatient. Then one guy dresses up in a clown costume and kidnaps a bunch of kids, and everyone hates Ronald McDonald, but will eat his food as long as he doesn't show up. It just one person or one bad sheep to ruin the whole flock, I guess is the word. I can't think of anything big. God, the Wayback Machine. That was a thing that happened after, I'd say after the 90s. After the 90s died, it was 97, I was born. There was 98, 99. As soon as 99 died, and the 2000s hit, it took 2001, 2002, 2003. My sister was born in 2002, maybe 2001, 2003, 4, 5, 6, 2007. The term for the early 2000s to at minimum the 80s was called the Wayback. And if you could tell any kid now that was the Rugrats, Hey Arnold, Rit and Stimpy, The Simpsons, Courage the Cowardly Dog, Dexter's Laboratory, Invader Zim, certain Power Ranger episodes. These are day one airs to long running shows, by the way. My brain flatline. I'm sitting there naming cartoons and shows that either just started airing from anywhere from the 80s to the end to the early 2000s. Fairly Odd Parents was a thing then too, and they were still new episodes. See, when you kids weren't even born yet, and I was still a kid, that was a new thing on TV. You could hop on Cartoon Network and watch a brand new episode of Dexter's Laboratory or Ed, and Eddie. Nowadays, they're just reruns. Oh, God, SpongeBob. Fuck. That was in an era where your parents didn't really care about how dumb you got for watching cartoons, as long as you did your homework. And SpongeBob, as much as I hate to say it, was a show I would watch. But of course, like I told you before, Brown Boy, when I was a kid, elementary to middle school years, I'd wake up at 3 or earlier in the morning, be ready for school by 4 to 5, and from 5 onward to 6, 7, something, 6 and 7, 16 or something like that, I'd be ready for school and had watched at least 2 to 3 hours of cartoons before I went to school at 7:16. and it was like a cartoonized version of Inspector Gadget, Gadget Boy, which apparently is either an aftermath or a precursor to him as a kid. The Pink Panther, the Flintstones is a good one in the 90s. The Flintstones, meet the Flintstones. A prehistoric family from the town of Bedrock. You know, that's a good one. The Jetsons, George Jetson, his boy Alroy.
The Jetsons. I know this isn't a really old one. What about
that's a good one.
What about Samurai Jack?
That's a good one. That's a good one. That was really interesting. There was a lot of weird stuff, though. I mean, some of it was strange. They're supposed to get a reboot of that as well, by the way.
Or My Life as a Teenage Robot. Not a lot of people. No, I think.
Yeah, I remember that one. There's that one.
Robot Boy. There was one that was about something. I don't remember. El Tigre was a dank one.
What happened?
El Tigre was a dank one.
I don't think I remember that. How about let's skip the kid friendly content. Let's go a little bit older. Let's go talk about Adult Swim in the 90s. They shared the same in the 90s on to, like, again, modern times when people started caring about content. Cartoon Network and Adult Swim, or as some people might reference it as the starting of MTV as well, all shared. Adult Swim and Cartoon Network both shared a channel level together. And think of a channel like the room you sit in has little thin lines, and you pulled up a radio at a certain height, you pulled it all the way up, and you turn that dial, and that pin would go left and right. Well, imagine that going up and down. And Cartoon Network's channel number is the frequency. 12 o'clock at night? On the nose, Cartoon Network stopped whatever show they were viewing to give Adult Swim their free time. And it was some really dank shit that happened when your kids should be asleep. Oh boy. Some of it was cartoons for adults. It wasn't anything bad. It was just... It really showed you dumb adults were, I guess. Like Robot Chicken, Beavis and Butthead, Family Guy... brain. I remember watching King of the Hill's a good one. Damn it, Bobby.
Dale,
there's one good one that. So I didn't even tell her you flirting on that girl. I hadn't even told her that I worked at the propane factory yet. The jokes.
That's my purse. I don't know you.
Then there was shows I remember watching in the 90s that I don't really remember what channel they were on. Was Everyone Hates Chris.
Everybody Hates Chris, that's a good one. Where's my chain?
That's a good one. That one was really dank. He reminded me of a younger Vanilla Ice.
Where's my chain?
Yeah, good old white teenagers be like, I'm going to rap in the 90s. Everyone else, please stop.
I love the scene in the intro. Chris, help! My head is stuck.
Right. Phineas and Ferb also kind of started some things early 2000s. Some shows by the early 2000s, some shows lots of the 90s shows got rebooted. And that was fun. We could talk about dank movies from the 90s to at least the 2000s.
Real quick, I want to mention one more cartoon that's old. That's kind of old. It's not the oldest.
Well, define the year. You gotta know the year before you mention it. A year span, at least. Like 70s to 90s, 80s to 2000s sort of thing, you know what I mean?
Right.
You gotta know the year before you mention it. Right. We don't want to mention anything higher than the 2002 at least.
Okay.
That's like at max. Maybe mention the name and I might vaguely remember.
Okay, yeah, this one's 1998. Codename Kids Next Door.
That was a good one. I watched a lot of their shows. They're getting a 2000 a reboot too. They're one of the few shows from then that are getting a reboot to what they are now.
But I'll also
Very
mention
fun.
that these aren't old, but I want to mention some very, very dank shows of Cartoon Network that I remember there being there. My gym partner is a monkey, and Camp
remember that one.
Laszlo.
Remember that one too.
Oh boy!
Camp Laszlo. What the hell was Clam? Was he a rhino? Was he a dinosaur?
Let's not mention the worst offender: almost naked animals.
Now, what was that one about? I remember that one. But what were they thinking?
Really?
Again,
what were they thinking?
This is pre them caring about what's going on. Nowadays, if you go and you give your kid and you talk about that with other kids, the people are going to give you the stank eye and be ready to call the cops.
But also, I want to mention there was nothing sadder.
Like, what the hell?
There was nothing sadder than being at 9:00 p.m. because that's when it would happen, and I'd be enjoying vibing out with some Adventure Time, Gumball, or whatever I was watching at the time, and then they'd be like, okay, so basically they'd have
don't turn that on. He won't do anything.
An announcement that it would be.
I know it power outage. When the power went out, it killed itself. It even turned on then back off. I'll tell you, we charge. Huh. We have Roomba now. Nice. Todd's alive.
Todd's alive. But, man,
Todd's alive.
Nothing was.
I named it Todd after a really bad game developer who doesn't care what he's doing. The Roomba can't clean, and Todd can't do his job. So he's already hitting the...
But, like I said, nothing was...
Boy!
Oh.
Took you long enough. It's Todd.
It's Todd.
You see it?
Hold up.
Watch. He's gonna bounce. He's gonna go over there, and he's gonna bounce all over the place. Todd, fucker.
Nothing was sadder than being
at 9:00
p.m.
and
getting
weird,
the
Yo-Yo Ball was a good one. We can go talk about toys and other things that you remember as a child. And this is strictly like 90s.
But before we do that,
this is, you got to cut off as 2000s.
Right. Nothing was sadder than being at 9:00.
That book I told you about is from the start of Lego to that edition modern day. And I can go and tell you all about the Lego sets that existed when I was a kid. I'm sorry about the thing.
I want to mention real quick before we get into that. Nothing was sadder than me being at 9:00 and getting the announcement that Cartoon Network was shutting down.
Cow and Chicken. Night. That's a good one, Amber. That's a good one.
Yes.
That's a good one. That one had lots of bad sex jokes in it as well.
But it was like, we're getting off for the night. Good night. And it's like, what am I going to watch for the rest of the night? And then Adult Swim would start up.
Then Adult Swim showed up.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's not
yeah,
cartoons,
you have a good point on toys.
It.
And I have quite a few toys that we can mention. Nerf goes back a long time. I remember when the long shot was announced.
Nerf for nothing. Oh yeah, back then that was the standard. God, that was a standard. Then there was the Vulcan. The Vulcan's like, move over, sniper rifle. It's time for a automatic or bolt action 50 cal machine gun that shoots foam. Oh fuck!
But I also remember when toys were getting into getting big into making interesting electronic toys, like the shell shocker, or something like that. And it was like a big old ball with a tail that rolled around the fucking house. I don't know. It was dank.
How about the toy I mentioned before? That's it was a. Oh, fuck, what was it? It was like it was a thing in a box. I think that's what you call it. And you could set it on two things: push to activate or motion detection. And if you did, it would shake and say, "Hey, you there? Can you help me? Someone, please, someone, let me out of here." This fucker gave me a heart attack as a kid, and now it's like we had one for like 5 days, and it was like it kept making Mars nervous because somehow it would get activated on a random chance of it being random. We'll say random in quotes, that it would show up and be automated, and it drove her so crazy she threw that fucker in the water. Like, she'd get the hell out of here moment. To this day, we don't even know. So she's not convinced that we don't know, but I promise you, we don't know what the fuck was going on. And I'd say, I believe you me, I would have loved to know why it was doing that. But we'll never know. How many sucks did it take to get to the center of a lollipop? You're going to jail because no one cares. Oh boy. Yeah, there was a licks to take the center of a lollipop, and then you went to prison because you can't even say that word now without getting in trouble.
Right.
Oh,
Let's talk about the flat ball.
Going into your local candy store and ask for a, what? Splat ball.
The flat ball. You smash this thing down into a disc, and then you toss it to somebody.
You throw it like a frisbee.
And then the middle it would turn into a ball. As a kid, I was like, I want one so bad. Never got one.
Give, you're too old for that. Get a Nerf gun then.
No,
that's how I fucked my parents.
I never got
I fucked with them that way. If they ever said no, I'd tell them I'd go buy a really expensive Nerf gun then. Because I got money as a kid every so often for doing other things. Because, my parents believed that I was born unto them and I'm their, slave. So when I wanted something, I went and bothered someone else in the neighborhood and did things for them like, I did a little bit of roofing as a kid, a little bit. Doing things like helping neighborhood parents build up their kids' wooden playsets at like 11, 12. And I get paid $20 or $30. I don't doing it. Oh, fat tiger! Ah! No, you just ate. I'm gonna ruin your day, Tiger, by petting you. Love you, Tiger. Like,
We've all had an RC car as a kid, but I was still young when the first hex bugs were coming out. Those things. They were fun. I enjoyed them. Todd!
Get him, Tiger! Oh. I'm gonna edit this a little bit to trick it. Watch. That's how easy this thing is to trick. Watch. We need an update. And Todd's going to the bathroom.
Ooh. Hi.
At least he can clean up the cat litter. At least he can clean up the cat litter.
Todd.
Fuck you, Todd. It'll stay back here because I'm going to do this. He'll bump into that door a couple times and he'll never work again. He'll sit there and scream, I'm full, Gordon. Or he's basically the trap is full or some shit. It's over. It's done. Bye. That was full, Gordon. Yeah, the Vulcan was probably, in my opinion, I will forever say this, when Nerf released the first edition, not the other two versions that came out in modern day, when Nerf released the Vulcan, a 50 cal Nerf gun, that was belt-fed and everything, everyone did one thing, I'm going to beat your ass, fight me, and they all ran out and they had neighborhood Nerf wars that lasted days. And there's always that one kid in their play area that had a Vulcan on its tripod at the top of the swing, and the only way to get to him was either climb up the swing, seems to be the popular choice at this point, or the slide. I'm sorry, it was mounted at the slide pointing down, and the idea was, contrary to popular belief, was climb up the slide, get shot, you get shot twice, you're out. Or climb up the back and try to be stealthy so he can see you. He basically was the one that had the sniper gun too, and he would just, if you got shot with the sniper rifle, when we played Nerf as kids, sniper rifles were instant kill, hands down, didn't matter where you got hit. The Vulcan was a 2-shot down, and if they shot you a third time while you're down, you're out. We had all these little kids that run around with Band-Aids. It was fucking hilarious. God, the Band-Aid stories of '98. I wasn't around then, but that was apparently a thing. So where I lived at the time, the neighborhood kids were a little younger, and that's what they did. They go around and put Band-Aids on each other. Then they ran out of Band-Aids, so they got office duct tape. This was a little clear duct tape you see in all the things, and they do that instead. They put tape over you wherever you got shot. If it was on your shirt, they'd just stick it on your shirt. And there was no, hey, my dick got shot like it is now. And there was no, like now it's like, oh, you shot me, I'm going to have a vocal problem and a physical issue because I'm playing paintball and not Nerf. Ah! Of course, back then, Rival didn't exist either. But people were, and again, we'll go back as young as Mars, 14 years old, playing Nerf. And we were all having a fucking field day throwing footballs at each other, and that was the grenade. Because there wasn't now they're called throwables, and they're like axes and shields. When I played Nerf, and I got it old enough to play Nerf, 10, 11 years old, I saved up enough money to buy the 2-edged sword you could spin like a damn dual-bladed lightsaber. One axe, not axe, it's a long Excalibur, like really long rapier, Nerf, hurt like hell, and a shield to go with it. And you know what I did with that? Wish I had someone to play Nerf with, because no one wanted to play with the autistic kid.
Also, let's talk about...
But then, when someone didn't want to play with me, I said, if I can hit you with this sword, then I get to, then you have to say for a week, the autistic kid beats you in a Nerf war. They were like, deal, because they know where you're going to hit me. And while they were saying deal, I smacked them across the face and knocked one dude's tooth out. He went to school the next day. I got my ass beat by an autistic kid.
What about the Vortex?
The Vortexes and the disc things. The disc things was not on that list. I mean, this was... Oh, hi, Woo! Hi.
Hi, kitty.
Why are you screaming at me, Snowy? So, do Woo.
But,
where's Snowy? Say hi to YouTube.
I remember
Can you say Umu for YouTube? Ah! Ah! I'll put you down. Don't worry. Pussy.
I remember when one of the best things to buy from Nerf was like something like a Fire Strike. I would hit good ranges, could fire fast enough.
Did you just eat Snowy jiggling? That's what Snowy. She's like, ah! Ah! And it's like, ah! And Alice is just like, no. It's my job. Oh boy. Snowy can get very vocal. At least I mess with Tiger all the time. At least Snowy's independent when it comes to eating. At least Snowy doesn't request me to be around her when she's eating. Tiger? Yeah, I'm not going to eat my food. Come watch me eat it. Bitch. Damn right. Yeah. Pussy. Smack. Crusty toes.
Also, it's getting food.
Kate burned her toes on the concrete. You know, flaky looking. Okay, Kate, you're okay. So the nerves of my toes are singed. I don't know what to do. Oh boy. The smell though. You and Kate been having fun outside with Collie and Jinx. She's like, yeah, fun enough to burn my toes. They were having a soccer match, quote unquote. I don't know how you call it soccer. However, they don't wear shoes. Robin?
I asked for Legos for my birthday at one point, and I got Legos. But one time, and I did very much enjoy this. On my birthday, we went to a place where we could do indoor swimming pools. Much to my surprise, they gave me a big ass box with the label K-Nex on it. I was like, what I thought in my head was, oh hey, some shitty off-brand Legos. No, I mean yes, but it went to a whole nother level than just Lego bricks.
The K'NEX, you mean?
K'NEX, yeah.
You say K-Nex, and I'm like, oh god, he's got himself an erection pill.
No, but connects.
He connects. It's an E, dumbass. Connects, not Canex. You sound like some damn sexual stimulant with a bit of mucus relief.
K-Nex, as in like Kmart.
Connects. This connects. You need the actual connects, man. Oh god, and then there's the iron ball and the magnet. It was a dupe. Oh, I can put all these together and make a thing.
Magnetics.
What are you doing?
Is that what
making us? Yep. Yep. I'm gonna make a soccer ball, and I'm gonna kick it, and you're gonna have 600 iron ball rounds to your face because that's what happens when you kick a magnet. God. A Lego man has fallen in the river. Cool story, bro. Oh god, now I gotta go build a boat because he's actually drowning.
There's all kinds of fun stuff in our childhood.
God. You imagine how Amber was jokingly disappointed when we gave Mars a Lego set, and she's like, "You won't get up. I gotta build something to save him." And I was like, "Mars, that was cinematic." She's like, "Oh." The disappointment. Like, I thought they were gonna move or something. They don't even joint the legs. Besides sitting, standing, hands out, and they just on their wrists and shoulders. She was very depressed. Like, it was sad.
Oh.
That was when she was about 10. She didn't. Oh, whoa, Alice. Oh, whoa. She's like, hey, look, Todd.
Hey, look, Todd.
Get it, Alice? That's what she said. Look, Todd. Alice, what you doing? Smack. From ice water to ass. Smack, smack. Patting her hip with ice water. And she's like, nah. Tiger would have had a fit if I did this right here. Just kind of put the thing under leg and move fly swatter, and he'd have a fucking spaz attack. Like, no. Alice just walks away. Oh, see, come back, please. So now he looked at me and turned to walk off and sitting here messing with Alice. Good girl. Good girl. Whoa. Alice is spanking me. I dare you. But Snowy just looked at me and walked off like, fuck that. I'm done. Fuck that. Not even gonna. Just fat ass Alice. No, I don't gain weight. I'm just horizontally challenged or something like that. Like, she won't even say that. She's just like, yeah, I'm fat. I'm gonna sit on you and suffocate you when you sleep if you keep talking about it. Alice does not gain weight. She loses weight at a slower pace than everyone else. That's one of the jokes we made. Alice, you're not fat. You just lose weight slower than everybody else. As she runs up and down the stairs, and she's like, I don't see how am I not losing weight? She runs up and down the stairs, and I'm just trying to, when I go up and down the stairs about 20, 30 times a day, oftentimes some of them within the same hour, and then there's Alice, book it up the stairs, run around, shred the damn carpet to run in the den, and then Snowy's like, ah, and Snowy follows her up too, and then she runs back downstairs like, why are you chasing me, Snowy? And Alice just repeats the process until Snowy decides to leave her alone. Lose weight, run upstairs, break neck, lost weight, objective reached. I don't know. The intelligence level is like 2. Like, and there's Tiger at 3 a.m. There's no one down here.
Let's talk about movies that I watched, or we'll talk about toys, and, just nostalgia in general. A movie I watched as a kid. God help me. Back then.
That's a bad movie.
But no, I mean, God help me for what I watched, because I watched the B movie as a kid.
I think everyone watched the B movie. That was the biggest FU from movie producers at that point.
DreamWorks.
we just made a bee movie about bees. There we go. Totally creative. Okay. Like, if you took your kid to watch that movie, you better hope they were entertained and hope they weren't smart enough to know the difference between the ratings. Because it's just, oh boy. That movie was made on purpose to be B, and I wonder what they would have done if Rotten Tomatoes is like best movie ever, 2020s, like best movie 2022. What do you think that they would have done when they released that movie and got the best rating ever?
I don't know.
They don't throw that. That would have been. They probably would have took it back. Dude, we're making this shit movie. How dumb are these people? Let's just pull it out of the box office. They can't. Why? They locked the box. But they got such bad reviews. It was like, lean back in chair, cackle maniacally. You fools! You have fallen into my trap. Proceeding money for a movie that is shit.
But
that was a big FU there. It was so funny because everyone got trolled.
Everyone got trolled there. But also, some other movies that I watched in my childhood. Kung Fu Panda. That one was a...
There was Kung Fu fighting.
Yeah, that one stood close to my heart.
That was a good one.
I like that one.
That's a good one.
I was super hyped when the Ghost Rider new movie was announced. Like,
fuck that.
As a kid, I didn't play around with that. It's like, I'm gonna get an action figure. I'm gonna get the video game that came out after the movie. Little didn't know.
But the movie's scary. I don't watch.
I loved that movie when I was a kid, and I still love that movie now.
Hi, Mars. Jinx is here using me as a jungle gym, and Mars is like, I'm gonna lick your face. Because wins at this point. And Jinx is near swatting at my face, trying to find something to grab onto. It's like, stop. You're gonna scratch me. When the nails come out, someone's getting their ass beat. Meanwhile, on Tiger's head, I'm gonna scratch every single one of you guys. Oh, I don't have nails. Damn.
Tiger sees bug crawling on floor. First reaction, I'm gonna pat it.
Gonna give him pat pats.
Pat. He was literally doing that. He was like pawing at it, like pat, like.
Then he took 2 hours to kill a mouse or a rat. I don't. You can tell how useless cats are when they can't do that. But of course, he was an outside cat before we got him, and it was like, how do you end up doing that, Tiger? I mean, you just gonna play with it. He won't play with us. He won't play with string that much unless it benefits him. He does not care about laser pointers. But he sees a bug or something that moves on its own, he's like, I'm gonna pat your back to death. Oh man, cats are dumb. Stretch
your back to
death. Pat. Oh hey, give me a second.
There's some movies. The Ant Bully. I also watched Chicken Little. Oh boy, that one.
You're grounded. Get off the game.
What?
You was told to get those pop cans 3 or 4 times. I even sent you a voice message. And you still didn't do them.
Get the No! Because I did that. Give me a moment.
Tiger. Meow. Dude, just bark on me, you little chick. I love you, Tiger. Come here. I love my pussycat. Get the pussy for views. Hey, pussy. Hey, destroy me, please. Oh, well. Are you best friends, Tiger? Please don't press on that. You'll break it. Thank you. Poking on my sternum like he's going to break it. But I ain't got nothing else to talk about. That's the life in the 90s, bro. Hoverboards, Back to the Future, Jurassic Park, Lego sets were released. The world was simpler and dumber, but yet smarter compared to nowadays. Back then, it wasn't like, oh, look, a cop killed a black guy and the world's going to end. That wasn't a thing that happened. Meow. Can you say, oh, woos, Alice? Alice is playing on my chest. And then says, oh, woo. Bongo?
Not bad. Hey, Brutus. Sorry, guys.